from persons in support of the application, and then we will hear folks against the application, and then we will hear a short rebuttal from the applicant or his designee addressing only the issues raised by opposition. At this time, the appropriate comments come from the AMBO to the panel of the dais, and the discussion across from the AMBO to commission members. That's not the time for this. The time for that was before I banged the gavel. And then after we hear the testimony, we will go to discussion by commission members and then a vote. Our next meeting is when, Miss? December the 5th?
Yes, sir.
At this, I'll announce that again at the end. Are there any other comments that I missed?
No, but you should see on your laptop that there's an update to the agenda.
Okay. Which one is?
You should have gotten a message on the bottom that says update agenda.
You know, the way technology is.
I didn't have to.
So what did we update?
Your agenda would have updated. If you tapped on the agenda, you should have seen an update.
And so what did it change? Maybe
It changed the property description
Oh, I see.
for
what you're
Joby
saying.
Avenue.
It is not, but I think I'm in the PDF, so I think I gotta get out of that. I think I gotta get out of that to get back in.
Okay.
No, if you got it in paper, that's fine. I kind of like Mr. Ralph here. I like it in paper to start with. You know, this digital stuff is for storage. Any other comments?
No, sir.
Ms. Oakes, number 2, roll call.
Anita Du Bois, Bobby Claiborne, Edward Blake, Isaac Lewis,
Here.
Michael Lewis,
Here.
Ron Brown,
Here.
Walter Johnson,
Here.
Ricky McAllister, Charles Whitehead III.
Here. So by my count,
That is
Madam Director, that is a quorum. Ms.
That's
Oakes, you
correct.
concur? Number 3, subsection 3.1, approval of the minutes. The commissioners have been provided copies of the proposed minutes in their packets. If there are no corrections, additions, or deletions, I will entertain a motion to waive their formal reading and adopt them as proposed.
I make a motion.
Motion by Lewis, second by Lewis. Ms. Oakes, you can figure out which Lewis did which. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. Number 4, old business, subsection 4.1, the city council approved the application by Vargas Properties LLC at 302 South Drive to rezone the following: Lot 1, Block B of Shamrock Park, less 502.2 square feet to the Highway Department, from B3 commercial to B3 commercial with an additional BA zoning. The reason is to operate as a sports bar. By my calculations, that is the conclusion of old business. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Number 5, new business, subsection 5.1, the application of Mr. Clifford Davis II at 241 Stevens Avenue for a variance at the following locations: lots 4, 5, and 6 of Block B of the East Natchitoches subdivision to the city of Natchitoches, Louisiana. The variance requested is a variance of 21 feet of the required 25-foot front yard setback. The reason is to put a carport there. As Mr. David or his applicant comes forward to the podium, would the director summarize the application, or is there, and let us know if there have been any comments or objections filed with you.
For this application, there has been no inquiries, so no one has called to vote against it or ask any questions about it. Again, this is a simple carport installation. It's 21 feet of the 25-foot front yard setback. It's not going to be in an enclosed garage, just a carport covering.
It will not be enclosed, right?
Right.
All right. Mr. Davis,
Yes, sir.
you heard the summary of your application by the director. Is there anything you need to add or correct to what she said?
No, sir, not a thing.
All right. Well, let's see if there are any questions by members of the commission. Any questions for Mr. Davis by the commission? Hearing none, is there anyone to speak in favor of the application of Davis? Is there, moving on, is there anyone in opposition to the application of Davis? Hearing none, we'll move to discussion by commission members. Does the commission have a pleasure?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Lewis to approve, and second by Mr. Lewis to approve. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. All right, Mr. Davis, that carries. It will be final in 11 days if no one takes an appeal. And so you just check with either Ms. Oakes or Ms. Rock, and they can let you know when it's final. And of course, it'll be a function, you'll have to pull a permit to do it. So, you know, I'd kind of do all that at one time. Just bring your checkbook and there's an application online. They're not expensive. I had to fuss at my roofer a while back. He replacing the roof without a permit. I found out it was $47. I said, man, you can't embarrass me like that. The chairman of planning and zoning trying to beat the city out of $47. So, just go online, there's an application for your permit, and just get that with your drawings and bring them in there after 11 days. And they'll tell you if somebody appealed, because they won't take your application or your check.
Fair enough.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you coming. Number 5.2, roads, properties, and development. This is a municipal address of 340 South Drive, the old site of the Motel Louisiana. Louisiana is to request a variance of the following lot described as 412.8 feet on the west side of Highway 1, north and west by Shamrock Park subdivision, south by Mercer and others, and lot 25 by 50 feet in Lot A, less 0.01 acres to the Highway Department. The variance requested is 10.2 feet of the required 25-foot rear yard setback. The reason is to develop a new office building. Before we go to comments by the directors, we previously approved a much more intensive use of this property than what is before us. So this is a rework of a rework. And I didn't look at the old application, but Madam Director, don't you think this is about 60% of the size of the other one?
It is.
All right. You received any comments?
I have
about-
just simple questions. The neighbors are asking if it's gonna encroach on their property or how close it's gonna be to the existing structures, which we explained because of the nature and the size of this lot. We had to request a variance to satisfy the ordinance for the rear yard setback. Other
But-
than that, the application is in
But
compliance.
if I'm not mistaken, this variance is less of a variance than what we previously granted.
That's correct.
All right. All right, Mr. Rhodes, would you please identify yourself for the record?
I'm Justin Rhodes, owner of Rhodes Properties and Development.
You heard the comments by the director and by myself about your application. Is there anything you need to know or need us to know in addition to what you put in your application with the drawings?
No,
that were
sir, I
attached?
think you hit the nail on the head.
All right. Is there anyone else to speak on behalf of the application of Rhodes Property and Development? Hearing none, is there any opposition to the Rhodes application? Moving to discussion by commission members. Does this commission have anything they want to ask Mr. Rhodes about his application? And my understanding it's going to be a State Farm office, at least initially.
That's correct, yes, sir.
Discussion by commission members, or does the commission have a pleasure?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Lewis,
Second.
second by Mr. Lewis. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. Once again, Mr. Rhodes, that'll be a final in 11 days if no one files an appeal. Otherwise, it has to be docketed within 45 days. Typically, we don't see second round opposition. It's mostly first round.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. 5.3 on new business, Mr. Joseph F. Bienvenu, 201 Bayou Country Road. He wants to rezone the following 34.02 acres being described as 15 acres in Section 10, Township 8 North, Range 7 West, shown as Tract C on a plat on map slide 396B of the records of Natchitoches Parish, Louisiana, and a 19.02 acre tract in Section 10, Township 8 North, Range 7 West, as shown on the plat and conveyance book 520, folio 314 of the records of Natchitoches Parish, Louisiana, and an 8.36 acres located in Section 10, Township 8 North, Range 7 West, shown as Tract B-1-A, containing 7.36 acres, and Tract B-1-B, as shown in a plat in conveyance book 703, folio 700, from RED to RED with a special exception. The reason is to operate a short-term rental. If Mr. Bienvenu or his representative would come forward, Madam Director, if you would add anything to this application, tell us if we've had any contact, and remind us what an RED is, because that's something that we adopted essentially for that corridor probably 7 or 8 years ago, and really haven't had anything done on it. There may have been some folks on here that weren't here when we adopted the RED.
Okay. So I have not had any comments or questions. Well, I'll take that back. I did have one resident that owns property adjacent to Mr. Bienvenu's property, but I think she was going to reach out and talk with him herself to get questions or answer those. But other than that, I haven't had anyone to oppose it.
And I have
RD,
I have $100 to your penny. I bet I know who that was.
I'm pretty sure you do. So an
And so the REDs, what are those?
That's a residential estate district.
And that's something that's bigger than our R1 type stuff. It's not,
It's
connotes
way
larger
than a single
lots and
family, right.
pastoral living and that kind of stuff.
That's
It
correct.
does not. And we do not have much development in this area at all, do we?
No, not at all.
It's not like these other things where we've seen when people are trying to shoehorn these into
Mm-hmm.
fully developed, fully packed R1s.
I think some of the property, if I'm not mistaken, I know some of the adjacent property use it as hayfields, and that's about it. Nothing else has been proposed.
And you have the
on that.
defunct Bayou Ridge subdivision that is in big pieces now. All right, Mr. Bienvenu, would you please state your name and address for the record?
Joe Bienvenu, 201 Bayou Country Road.
You heard the summary by the director of your application. Is there, tell us a little bit, I don't think you have a whole bunch to add, but what are you planning on doing, putting some vacation renters in here or something?
Yeah, short-term Airbnb, VRBO, something like that. Have rooms in house to do that, and one little cabin in the front yard, little gatehouse, and just want to do some short-term rental, overnight, weekends type of thing. People that want to come enjoy historic Natchitoches.
All right.
So there won't be any subdivisions at all? 'Cause that
No,
was,
ma'am.
okay.
Not a developer like these men over here, for sure.
All right, are there any questions for Mr. Bienvenu from members of the commission?
We would be residing in the home too. It's not like it have
So the home is gonna be like a bed and
Right.
breakfast, and the
Yes.
cabin's gonna be more like a VRBO, right?
Right.
How many cabins do you have there?
Just one. It's in the front yard. It's not,
Varner built that, or did you build that?
no, I actually swapped the hay baler part.
Ah.
And I've been, Mr. Herschel Horton, a lot of people have
Yeah.
been helping me out with it, but my neighbor, well, I swapped for my neighbor, he was gonna live in it, so he moved it over there. We did a little horse trading and whatnot a few years ago.
All right. Questions for Mr. Bienvenu by commission members? Is there anyone to speak on behalf of the application of Bienvenu? Is there anyone to speak in opposition to the application of Bienvenu?
I did have some questions, as you kind of explained about it being zoned rental property. I didn't,
It was a residential estate district,
okay.
not rental.
We saw something in the mail that looked like it was rental, and I thought it might.
No,
No.
it's a special, we came up with these bigger lots, just for your knowledge, R1 lot in the city, which is a single family, like where you grew up over there on
Right.
Watson or Hancock. Those have to be a minimum of 7,200 square feet and all that. The REDs was designed for more of the fringe of the city, where it connotes bigger lots and that kind of stuff. And it was actually a special one we adopted under Ms. Fowler's term as director, to address those things, to give people that want to live out there, typically up and down that, to have bigger lots and not be worried about having a bunch of 7,200 square foot lots squeezed in on them.
I think what he was questioning was the reason, and the reason given was to operate a short-term rental or Airbnb.
Well, and that's the reason for your application, because you've got to have this additional, because short-term rental is in the nature of a commercial activity, and you're not allowed to do that commercial activity in an RED. So you have to get special permission from us, and then it has to be blessed by the city council. And so that's what it has to be, because what you're trying to do is not permitted where you are. So you have to get permission from us, and then the city council will do it. Anyone, I did opposition, so there was no opposition. Discussion by commission members. Hearing none, does the commission have a pleasure?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Lewis to approve, second by Mr. Johnson. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. That carries. Mr. Bienvenu, it will,
Thank you.
this has to go before the city council. The next meeting is on the 13th. It's for introduction only on the 13th, Mr. Bienvenu. I would suggest being here. Typically, they're not supposed to take discussion when it's introduced only, but if somebody shows up on the 13th and say they can't be here on the 27th, they're gonna let them talk. I'd show up on the 13th. If nobody says anything, go home, come back on the 27th, and you have to do this again in front of the city council. And that's at 5:30 here?
5:30.
5:30 at this place, next Monday and 2 Mondays after that. All right, thank you all for coming. Number 5.2, Mr. Ralph Ingram, lots off of St. Maurice Lane to subdivide the following lots 4 and 5 of the partition of the E.S. Ferris home place, having a front of 80 feet on the north side of St. Maurice Lane by 555.2 feet deep each, and north 250 feet of the north 522 feet of Lot 3 of the partition of the E.S. Ferris home plates. The reason is for future development, future residential development. This is just a subdivision. Have you received any comment on this, Madam Director?
I have. I've had several people, and I'm not sure if you want me to read what the questions were. They were not able to attend, but they did send me an email.
Okay.
This is from Ms. Melina McLaurin. I think I said that name right. And she says, as a resident on Lauren Avenue within 300 feet of lots 3, 4, and lots 5 of partition of E.S. Ferris home plates, I would like to record several questions and concerns into record for the November 7, 2023 City Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. The first question was, how will these lots be assessed? Should they sell and have homes built on them? Will they be accessed through St. Maurice Lane or Lauren Avenue? Will it be extended to access these lots? How will construction equipment access these lots? Should they have homes built on them on St. Maurice or Lauren Avenue? What type of dwelling are these lots zoned for, a single family only, or are there other possible structures that could be built on them, business, multifamily structures, or mobile home lots? As a resident on Lauren Avenue, I'm concerned that our property values will be in danger if Lauren Avenue is no longer a dead-end street. An additional concern I have is that access will be extended on Lauren Avenue and that the lots will be allowed to have either multifamily structures or mobile home sites in these lots, each of which would introduce multiple vehicles to the daily traffic on this road. The increase in traffic would jeopardize the safety of this residential street on which many small children live and play. A third concern I have is that if construction equipment uses Lauren Avenue as access to these lots, it would leave debris that could be dangerous for children and our vehicles. Thank you for your consideration for my questions. Sincerely, Melina McLaurin.
Did Ms. McLaurin come to your office and view the
She did not.
application?
She did not.
Did she ask you to email any of this stuff to her?
She did not.
Anyone else contact you other than Ms. McLaurin?
No, sir.
All right. Mr. Ingram, you heard the director's summary of your application. Tell us a little bit more. It appears you're going to have a rite of passage coming from Lauren. Hold that thought. And this property is already zoned R1.
They are.
And this is a subdivision only. And it appears that the lot size is,
It's more than
I'm
the
trying to
70 zone.
do, it's about 4 times the maximum, the minimum size?
Of 7,200, yes, sir, it is.
Yeah, all right. I'm sorry, Mr. Ingram, go ahead. I want to get that thought on the record before it got away.
Thank you, sir. My name is Ralph Ingram. I live at 905 Williams. I saw a for sale sign down on St. Maurice Lane, and I pursued it, and I have eventually purchased this 2.41 acres. I've been to my surveyor, and I've asked him to survey it and divide it into 3 lots. I have verbally sold these 3 lots to the adjoining property owners. One who has lot number 1 in Breedlove subdivision facing East 5th Street. The other proposed purchaser is on lot number 1 of Loring Avenue. And in each case, the future owners of these lots tell me that they plan to increase the size of their property and not build anything, period. So there will be, as far as I know, no construction or future development. They just want to increase the size of their yard.
And by my calculation, you could have probably put somewhere around 10 single-family lots in there.
No, this is just for 3 lots.
No, I'm saying based on the amount of square footage.
Yes,
you could
sir,
have
that's
put-
correct. But
could
one
have
person is buying one person is buying 2.
All right,
So this is just for subdivision of the property?
That's it.
that's it.
Okay.
Questions for Mr. Ingram? Anyone to speak on behalf of the application of Ingram? Any opposition to the application of Ingram? All right, discussion by commission members. Does the commission have a pleasure?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Lewis to approve.
Second.
Second by Mr. Lewis to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Mr. Ingram, you know the drill. That becomes final in 11 days. I'll sign, we have the plat, Madam
We do.
Director? I'll sign the plat today. The
And I'll have
director will bring it to their staff meetings Mondays,
Tuesdays.
Tuesdays, and she'll get all the department heads to sign. So when the 11 days are up, you can come see her, get the plat. If you hadn't signed it, sign it. If you've already signed it, bring it over to Mr. Stamey at the clerk's office, record it, and bring her a copy back showing the recording data on it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Ingram. Number 5.5, Mr. Daniel Page, make an application 429 St. Denis Street to subdivide the following. Lot 1 of the plat of the Williams property having a front of 50 feet by 70 feet on the south side of St. Denis. Reason to realign boundaries for residential sale. Ms. Rock, have we had any comments on this application?
No, sir.
Mr. Page, you want to come forward?
I do have one question, though.
Sure.
So on this application, if we move that boundary line, and we might have to make an amendment to the application itself, by moving that boundary line, we're creating a substandard lot.
And I was going to suggest that we approve them as, because they are already existing improvements, that we approve them, lots 5A, 1A and 5B, to be substandard lots.
Okay.
All right, so let's have the discussion and we'll take care of that on the back end.
Okay.
Mr. Page, you've heard the comments and you received no comments from anyone?
No comments at all.
So, Mr. Page, as we see it, you've got two properties that are probably been here 75 years or something like that, and you're trying to split them up, I assume, to sell one to one person and one to another person.
Correct.
All right. And the neighbors said anything to you about it, if anybody?
No, sir.
All right. Are there questions for Mr. Page by any commission members? All right, is there anyone to speak on behalf of the application of Page? Is there anyone to oppose the application of Page? All right, let's move to discussion. Does this application give anybody heartburn? It looks like they're moving the line. These lines already exist. So let's make it clear. Lot 1 and Lot 5 are already substandard lots. It appears, if I'm eyeballing it right, Daniel, it's about 12 feet by about 70 feet or less than that you're moving from one lot to the other.
Very close, 11 by 70.
11 by 70. So in other words, we're adding 11 feet to the square lot and taking 11 by 70 feet off of the long and skinny lot.
Correct.
So the bottom line is, first of all, they're both substandard as they exist.
Correct.
And I don't know, it looks like there's a concrete apron, and is it, they poured over on the next, somebody somewhere back in time poured parking over on the neighbor's property.
Correct.
I assume that's the reason you're doing it, so that you don't have a squawk at closing.
That and the fence line.
Oh, and the fence is there, I see that now.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So fence was in the wrong place, parking, looks like whoever had lot 1 kind of put it to their neighbor. But in any event, discussion by commission members?
So both of them are substandard anyway, huh?
Right, right. And they've got one is encroaching on 5 in 2 different ways. With a fence, you see how the fence is actually on the line, the new line. You see those X's
Yeah.
in the survey, that means there's a fence actually there. And then there's a concrete apron, which I assume was poured for parking, because we all know St. Denis Street is not 41 feet wide. It's just not there. It's probably 25, 27 feet, and they poured that for parking, part on the property and part of the street right away. So, does anybody got any comments about it? All right, well, I need to do the lawyer thing. I need a motion to amend the application to recognize that both of these lots will be substandard lots. It'll only amend the application to that, and then we'll vote on the amended application after that.
I'll make a motion.
Motion has been made by Mr. Lewis to amend the application showing, and second by Mr. Lewis. All in favor of amending the application, say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. So the application stands amended to move the lot line 11 feet to the north, to the west, and recognizing that these are both substandard lots. Does the commission want to have a discussion, or do they have a pleasure on this amended application?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Lewis to approve.
Second.
Second by Mr. Johnson. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. All right, so that stands approved. Have you turned in the final plat with the seal on it yet, Daniel?
No.
No.
All right, so
Preliminary.
get that from Robert, sign it, try to get it to her by the end of the week, because she has all these other people that are department heads. She'll take it to the meeting on Tuesday and get them all to sign it, otherwise you gotta run it around to all of them.
Okay.
And so we just try to get it in there because it saves you a bunch of time. Once she has all those signatures, you'll have to take it up to Mr. Stamey, have it recorded, bring her a copy showing the map slide, instrument number, and recording data for our records. And then, of course, there's 11 days, the next 10 days, somebody can appeal. I can't imagine they would, but everybody's got a right to do what they got to do. Thank you, sir. Any other new business?
No new business.
Number 6, report of office activities.
So we had the APA conference that took place October 13th. Our commissioners actually were certified for that training. I sent out an email asking that we all get together and discuss what we talked about at that APA conference. And I'm not sure if everybody got it or we just overlook it, but I'm looking for a time or date that will be that will be good for you guys, so that we can sit down and have a meeting and talk about some of the things that we learned at the APA conference, and then go over some of those things that may be a requirement. to be on the
You know,
commission.
the only caution I would make is I would do it in two different groups that are sub quorum. for
Well,
period.
there is a way we can do it as a whole.
Okay,
There is a way, it's what city council does.
Yeah.
They'll put out something saying that
yeah,
we are
we're gonna
meeting
meet this
together as
time and
one
talk
group.
about it and have a public meeting. So we just need to not run afoul of the sunshine law. So
Right.
if you're gonna do like a work session, typically it's the way we used to call it.
Right.
All right,
So you guys think about a date and a time? Your place where you guys want to meet?
okay. All right. I will. And I'm pretty much available. Why don't you get a couple of dates and get Nicole to get us a couple of dates, and why don't we just get everybody to sort of vote on it? Say
Okay.
which one's better, and then you tally them up and just tell us when to be there.
That'll work.
And I assume it'd be better for everybody to do it at this time of the day rather than.
Yeah, it'll have to be an
Day.
afternoon and an evening time.
All right. Any other office activities?
Not at this moment.
Number 7, Mr. Johnson, you're in the spot, so can I have my motion?
I move that
We
the
adjourn.
meeting is adjourned.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign.